Hi, everyone. This is Ricardo Vargas, and this is the 5 Minutes Podcast. I want to share with you today my insights about the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report 2024, the 19th edition of the report. And for me, I know the report for many years since my time at the UN, and this is a very, very insightful report, and it's perfect that they release this report at this time of the year because this is a time for me that's very special. It's the time I'm thinking about the year. I'm thinking about, okay, what would be the trends and where I should put my mind on thinking, where I should be concerned. And this report raised some attentions for me. And the first one is about environment. And if you go back 1 year ago when I recorded a podcast, I said the same. But now it is like different because now we are truly approaching a point of no return. It means the level of destruction will not be able to be recovered. And this is a big thing. If you take a look on the 10 years forecast about the trends, on the top 5, 4 of them, 4 out of 5, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 are related to the environment. So it's a massive challenge. But I'm not saying this is less relevant, but this is already on the top of our mind for many years, despite of several people thinking in a different way, thinking it's less relevant. But what is really concerning me on this? It's when I look to the 2-year time frame, means short term, on the top. It's misinformation and disinformation. And I love what they said. Truth is under pressure. It means the concept of what is true and what is not true, it's not so evident today. Why? Because with the use of technology associated with the polarization, you have such a fertile environment to create very convincing fake news in order to shift the concept of what is true. And why this is so important for all of us? Because many of you may think, okay, I'm managing a project, and why does this relate to me? Remember, your project is not an island. Your project relies on suppliers, on clients, on workers, on people that will do service and receive service from your project. And if this spread of misinformation start to contaminate, okay, first in the political environment, but second in the business environment, then we will be in deep trouble because we will not know anymore what is true, what is fake, what is a problem. For example, maybe you will see a video that you are sure that a company did a criminal act on a project, but then this video may not be true. That person may not exist. And this is something that makes me really sad because I love AI. Many of you know that. And I think AI could be one of the big steps for us to produce a better life. But the problem is that people don't get that. And still many people think that AI is a tool for you to spread disharmony and to spread hate and this. And this is on the top item. Another thing that was super interesting, it's if we go a couple of years ago, everybody was concerned about pandemic and, this kind of problems with, I would say, biological hazards and, like COVID. And now it just disappeared. It's so interesting to see how our memory is short-lived, right? Because this was on the top of the agenda a couple of years ago. Just listen to my podcast of 2 to 3 years ago and you will see that. And now they are not even among the top 10. So just to give you an idea. And if we look to the 2-year report, the short term, we see on the top misinformation and disinformation, followed by extreme weather events. Third one, that is very related to the first one, societal polarization. It means everything is becoming much more. People cannot reach an equilibrium. Everything is 8 or 80. Everything. So we see all the political debate is polarized. all the economic debate is polarized. People cannot walk through the center to find a consensus in a society that struggles to move forward. The fourth one is cyber insecurity, because our lives is becoming more and more dependent on IT. And this concept of being safe on the cyber environment is becoming a true challenge for all of us. So it's a dramatic thing that we see here, the concept of cyber insecurity. And the fifth one is armed conflict. And this is interesting because last week, when I spoke about the trends, it's so interesting because I said about this volatility in this, and I mentioned the concept of the armed conflict, Russia and Ukraine, Hamas and Israel, and this could spread out and could create a lot of instability for us. And what is my final say to all of you? It's think about how these things will impact your work and your projects. Because if you think they will not impact, bear with me, you are wrong. Because you are part of an ecosystem. You have suppliers, you have clients, you have the whole ecosystem around your project. And if this is dominated by fake news, and one of these big trends and big risks become a reality, there is no way it will not impact your project. So think about that. Please download this report. It's more than 120 pages. I'm not telling you to read everything. I would love that this podcast would create a stimulus for all of you to do that. But you need to download it. And you need to take a look on the big things. And this is exactly why I'm recording this podcast, because I'm ready to give to me the insights I need to make my decisions about 2024. And I hope you can do the same. Remember, this is absolutely critical information for you and for your project. Trust me, okay? And download it, read it, take a look, and act on it, okay? I hope you enjoy this podcast and see you next week with another 5 Minutes podcast.